Well, hey there, everyone. I'm Matt Jordan. I'm senior pastor here at First Methodist Church, and thank you for joining us for the No Grow Go podcast. Today, we have a special guest, a friend of mine and someone who I get to serve on the Habitat for Humanity board with, Mr. Ashely Avery. And Ashely is on today to share about Habitat for Humanity, a program that our church has sponsored with and helped with over the years, and to share about all they've got going on. And also to talk about something that's coming up that's really, really cool to see. Our church has got the privilege to host it the past few years, the father-daughter dance. And so, Ashely, share a little bit about yourself and just kind of catch us up on who you are and your role with Habitat, and then we'll go from there.
Gotcha. Yeah, I appreciate the invitation. This officially starts my podcast career. I don't know. I may be one and done, but I appreciate the opportunity, and I always love to talk about Habitat for Humanity and the things that we got going on and in this community. And so I work with Blue Cross Blue Shield. I've been with them. June will be 19 years, and so we moved to Enterprise back in 2007 as a result of I got hired on with Blue Cross, and so I had to live in my territory. So we moved to Enterprise in 2007. I had been active with Habitat for Humanity in Dothan since probably around 96 or 97. Started getting involved over there, mainly building houses. That's the fun part of Habitat, to be honest with you. Everybody loves to get on a Saturday and help build a house, help with construction and that kind of thing. And so I helped with Wiregrass for several years. They invited me to join the board of directors over there. So I served on the board, and then they asked me to be president of the board, and I accepted. And then I got the job with Blue Cross. I had to move, so I continued as president for my term, and then had to resign, just because of the move over here. And so after a couple of years of being here, met Charlene Goolsby, through Blue Cross, and she, told her my interest in or she asked about my interest in Habitat. We talked about that, and so she invited me to come on the board. After being over here a couple of years, so I've been on the board over here since about 2009.
Okay.
That thing. Mm-hmm. And so if you're not familiar with, I know most people have probably heard of Habitat for Humanity. And there's the two biggest misconceptions are, number one, it was started by Jimmy Carter, the late president. And number two, we give houses away. Okay. So both of those are not factual. Okay. President Carter was very involved with Habitat. Habitat's corporate office, and really kind of where it sprung up from in Georgia. And so naturally he just took got very involved, him and his wife both. So he was involved with Habitat for many, many, many years, probably the biggest advocate for Habitat for Humanity. But he didn't found it. And then, we don't give houses away. So Habitat is built on the structure of trying to eliminate poverty housing. It's built on the premise that we offer a hand up, and not a handout. We partner with families, meaning that there has to be a need. They have to have a need for housing, definitely. They have to be able to qualify. So, we run a credit report, but obviously we don't kick people out because of the credit reports.
Right.
And then they have to be willing to partner, which means they do have to pay a down payment, typically around $500, $750. Something like that. And then they have to be willing to put in sweat equity hours, meaning they have to participate in building somebody else's house, and then they participate with sweat equity hours in building their house.
Okay.
And so through the process, it sort of kind of helps weed out those people that really want to try to take advantage of Habitat, but then also creates some value for them. We don't charge interest on the houses, which is a huge part of your payment, and so you only pay your principal. houses are funded. We try to get volunteer labor. We try to get volunteer materials. Habitat International itself has a very good structure. They've got partnerships with Whirlpool. Well, they donate appliances and those kind of things. And so the houses themselves are built for the price are lower, than a new construction home,
sure.
on average, and then when you fact in that you don't charge interest. I mean, you have a homeowner or a partner family that can afford, a $450 payment, which includes their principal, taxes, and insurance. And we can do, we can do a 20, 25, or 30-year mortgage, kind of whatever, can fit their budget, and then that the money that goes that completes the construction is something that we have money in the bank, or we have sponsorship. So the money's already there before we start construction. So we don't have any debt at the other side of the when we close on the homeowner. So when they make those premium payments every month, that principal payment goes into our mortgage fund that helps fund the building of the next house.
That's awesome.
And so that's how the habitat that system works.
That's great. So, what is about the average cost of building a habitat home?
Gosh, our habitat, the Habitat for Humanity of Coffee County, that's our technical name. I think the first house that they built around 2000, 2001 was for about $35,000.
Wow.
Yeah. Now we're hitting $100,000 just because obviously materials and that kind of thing. Some things you can get volunteers to do. Some things you just can't. The foundation's the bit. Things like that you have to pay for. You give a little bit of a discount because you're habitat. So I think our last house was $95,000.
Okay.
In some other markets, probably the most well-known habitat affiliate in Alabama is Tuscaloosa because Nick Saban and
Roll Tide.
Yeah, and Nick's kids. Every time Alabama wins the national championship, he donates enough money to build a house.
Yeah.
So we may not get any for a while.
That's it. We may be waiting a few more years.
That's right. But their cost is around $150,000 just because of because land is pretty pretty valuable in Tuscaloosa. So land's a big issue for them, and then just the cost of labor and that kind of thing.
And that's kind of my next question. How do we know where to build a habitat home, and how do we get that property?
Yeah, so ideally we would love to get a donated piece of property. So that if anybody out there has lots in a neighborhood that they would like to donate to Habitat, we would certainly take a look at it, and like to be a recipient of it. We did get a donation from a member of y'all's church, from several years back that, and it's a great location. It's a good lot. It's a little small though, so we're not sure if we're going to build a house on it. We don't, we want to protect the neighborhood as well,
right.
Not necessarily from a habitat family, from just, you drive by and you see a big house on a little lot,
right.
So, or what seems to be a big house on a little lot, so we're really struggling right now. Yeah, we need some lots.
So if someone donates that, how does that work?
So they would just get in contact with, somebody on the board. We would get in contact with our attorney, and just kind of just make a donation, deed the property over to us, and that kind of thing. So we don't want to not take a lot, but we also, if the lot is not graded very well, so we've got to come in and spend a lot of money to get the house and grading and all that kind of situation. We just can't go in and spend $20,000, on getting the lot prepared to put a house on it.
Right.
That's just So ideally, a flat lot.
Yeah.
Inside, with water and sewer would be ideal for us.
Sure.
But they're out there, and we'd love to take a donation. We do have some funds available to partner with. If somebody would partner with us to say, "Hey, I'll donate half if y'all can pay half," or something like that. We do have funds available.
Okay.
For that.
So when you when the board talks about building a home and going forward in that process, it's not just as simple and easy as saying, "Hey, we're going to build a home right here and let's get started." There's a lot of steps into that.
Yeah.
So, how long does it take to get a house project planned and off the ground and ready and completed?
Well, that, we at that point, we kind of turn into a home builder, just like, so obviously you got to go through the permitting process and that kind of thing. So sometimes they can be easy, and then sometimes they can be difficult if we don't have water, and sewer and that kind of thing. So, and for us, we do have a couple of home builders in town that help us, so they kind of help with that process, make it a little smoother and a little easier. But yeah, it can take a couple months between the time we say, hey, we're gonna, we're ready to kind of start building, to getting everything put in place and having some groundbreaking.
Yeah. So you mentioned volunteer labor to build these homes. So how many volunteers do you normally have in that process in building a home?
Yeah, it can depend. In the past, Billy Cotter's, he's been on our board for several years, and so he's very generous to send his crew out to frame and that kind of thing. And so once it gets framed and gets dried in, we in the past we've had a group, the soldiers out of Fort Rooker would come on and help us, roof the house.
Yeah.
The last house we built, we got a donation from Baker Metal out of Troy to donate the metal for the house, and then we had just a bunch of local boys get on top of roofs and screw them in. So that was pretty good. And then once you get it dried in, running vinyl is pretty labor friendly. So we had a youth group that come out and helped us run vinyl. I maybe been from First Methodist. I'm not sure. No, they're from New Brockton.
Okay.
We had a youth group from New Brockton come out and help us run vinyl around the house. Then when drywall's in, anybody can paint. Don't take all
right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. So painting and that kind of thing. So it just kind of depends. I mean, probably anywhere from 30 to 50 volunteers at some point would touch the house.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. When was the last house that Coffee County built?
So that was a house over on North Rawls Street. And we completed that house. I think we completed it in 2023. So we have been a couple years, and we're itching to get started. We don't have a good lot right now. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for a lot.
So and once we have the lot, then we're ready to start building, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So when you think about all that Coffee County Habitat does, a lot of folks, I think they assume Habitat just build houses. Mm-hmm. So what are the things that Coffee County has done since the completion of that house in 2023 while waiting on a lot to build a home?
Correct. So we've got two different programs going on right now. One of them is actually just wrapped up December 31st. So there was when COVID hit and all the legislation, bundling packages and all the spending, there was money that trickled out over the years, and so monies came down from the state under the Alabama Recovery and Protection Act. I think that's the acronym. ARPA is what we call it. But basically, the federal government handed down money to the state and said, "Hey, we want you to spend this, for different things." Housing was one of them, and so immediately when you think of housing, all the states want to turn to Habitat because we do such a good job.
Sure.
So our organization, so we were granted $40,000 to help with any type of repair projects, that was needed in the community. And so we had $40,000 there. And then there's also a program out there. It's called Strengthen Alabama Homes. Mm-hmm. And what that program does, it's funded through the Department of Insurance. So when you actually pay your homeowner's insurance, a portion of that money goes over to the Strengthen Alabama Homes fortified roofing projects, where you can get a fortified roof, on a home. So it has to be a single family residence, has to be owner occupied. So you have to live in the home and own the home. and your income has to be household income less than 85,000. But you can qualify to get up to $10,000 for a replacement roof for a fortified roofing grant. So what we were doing is we were combining the ARPA money with the Strengthen Alabama Home. So if we had a homeowner that needed a $14,000 roof, then we would take $10,000 from Strengthen Alabama Homes, and we would take $4,000 from the ARPA, and then that homeowner, could get a replacement roof. And it also included, any type of decking that needed to be repaired, any type of facial rod or anything around the roof edges, and all that kind of stuff. They would get complete repairs on that as well.
So, with that being said, so when a homeowner gets into a Habitat home, who maintains that home as far as repairs, plumbing, those sorts of things? Is that up to the homeowner? Is that kind of a mix? How does that work?
Yeah, I'd say it's a little bit of a mix. They are a homeowner at that point. They're responsible for their home just like me and you or anybody else. So Habitat, we don't just step in and pay for anything that's needed.
Sure.
Now we will, if they call us and say, hey, so-and-so has happened, we'll try to get some resources together for them labor-wise or point them in the right direction or that kind of thing. But, if they're, and we do have some of our older houses, they need new roofs. So we're approaching them about, hey, Strengthen Alabama Homes has this program in place. And, so, but there are fees that are, that they're associated. The homeowner has to pay, and so, it's kind of on them. If their air conditioner unit goes out, it's on them too. So they are a homeowner,
Okay.
And so they're responsible for maintaining their home. Part of the process when you partner with us, there's classes that you have to attend. So the homeowner has to they have to attend budgeting classes, so they learn how to budget their money. They do a home maintenance, so they learn how to change out their air filters. They learn how to look for plumbing problems that you say, hey, I need to call a plumber. Just different type of home maintenance things.
Sure.
That somebody that's never been a homeowner all of a sudden is a homeowner. Needs to be aware of. Yeah,
that's awesome. That's awesome. So, and that's one of the things that I love about Habitat is, there's a really good, well-known book called "When Helping Hurts," and if you give folks a handout, oftentimes it's needed, but a lot of times it's taken advantage of, and being able to give them a way to get up on their feet and have a new life and a new start to life in that capacity, but also mixing in the education side of that, because I think that's maybe another miscommunication or unknown fact that Habitat doesn't just give homes away, but also Habitat doesn't just maintain the homes that these folks are in, right? They have ownership and responsibility in that too.
That's correct. Yeah. And you want to, and all these programs are in place because of, prior issues where you throw somebody out there that's never been a homeowner before, and they're a partner family. They go through the process, they get a home, and somebody goes back in the home after a year, and realizes the air conditioners they never had a filter change, and somebody said, nobody told me. I mean, right. I forget to do mine, and I know better. So, so just things like that. I mean, so that's the thing. You educate them, and two, the statistics show when a partner family moves into a Habitat home, number one thing, the children's grades improve in school. Usually mom or dad go back to school, at least one of them, try to get a little bit better education. Usually their job situation increases because they just have a better self-image, so they want to improve their lives. A lot of kids go on to college, from Habitat homes. So you truly are affecting, a second and third generation, by moving a partner family and give them a new home.
So other than volunteer labor, how can people support Habitat? And for those of our listeners, the Coffee County Habitat, how can they support in what you all do?
Yeah, so we are in the process, the very early process of trying to get us a Habitat resale store started.
Yeah,
these are very popular across the country. When I was on the board over at Wiregrass, we actually started a Habitat resale store. over there. We struggled for several years and almost considered shutting it down. And then we were able to, take some advice from other Habitat's affiliates across the country on what they did, and they've really turned that store around over there for many years. So if you have extra building materials left over from something, if you're remodeling a house and got good building materials that you want to donate, like cabinets or doors or doorknobs, things like that, then if you can get in touch with us, you can donate those to Habitat. We're not necessarily going to use those in the construction of the house, but we're trying to get the resale store started so we can turn around and sell those materials, out and back to the public, and raise money, for our organization, for Habitat, So my name obviously is Ashely Avery. My phone number 334-208-1108 or bamaavery94@gmail.com. You shoot me an email if you got something and send me some pictures of it. We can maybe get arrangements to pick it up and put it on Facebook Marketplace and we'll sell it.
There you go. Well, and one thing that y'all have got upcoming that is always so fun, and we've had a lot of members of our church that they love to volunteer for it, but also a lot of dads love to participate in it, and that's the father-daughter dance.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about the father-daughter dance, what it's for, and it's a fundraiser, right?
Correct.
So what it's for and what it's trying to fundraise to support.
Right. So we have very few. In fact, this is our main fundraiser for the year with Habitat. So we started the father-daughter dance back in 2010. So we're going on 16 years. We took 2 years off with COVID.
Right.
So we were able to get the 2020 year in because that was in February. So things had not shut down yet. But we didn't, 21 and 22, we didn't have a father-daughter dance. So, but it's February the 6th. We've had it at the First Methodist Church. I think the first maybe 3 years we're at St. Luke, but y'all been generous enough we outgrew St. Luke very quick. So we come over here to y'all's facility. We've had it here ever since. We have a dance floor, we have a DJ, we have a nice sit-down meal to start with, and then we let the dads and daughters dance, for a couple of hours until they're tired and ready to go home. Their feet hurt.
That's it.
Yeah.
I hear the cookie bar is always a big hit too.
The kids love the cookie bar. That's correct. So it's a great night. It's something I get a lot of feedback in the community about the daughters say that one of the funnest nights of the year. They kind of get out and get some good time with dad and let dad make a clown of himself on the dance floor.
That's it. And, I always love to see the pictures that a lot of our members will post of them getting ready together and dressing up to the nines to go, and it's always such a joy to see. What do the funds for that go to support? So
those Habitat they go into our general fund, so they help our organization stay afloat. When I mentioned about the mortgage we get mortgage payments in. Those mortgage payments are designated. They have to go toward building a house, so we can't just take a mortgage payment and just use it for whatever. That has to stay in the mortgage fund, has to go toward the construction of new houses. So we really just need, the general funds to kind of help get the resale store started.
Sure.
We're looking for an office building and homes and, so just overall general operating expenses, for us.
Yeah. Well, if someone's listening that is wanting to partner with Habitat to apply to be a homeowner or know somebody who could really benefit from that, what's that process?
So they can fill out obviously we have an application. They can fill out the application at any time. We don't necessarily take and review. I mean, we take them always. We're not in the review process right now.
Sure.
Because we have what we call a family selection committee. So they'll get the applications in. They'll go through them and interview them and do their process on that. So we're not at that stage yet, but we definitely will take applications.
Yeah.
We're not in the review process exactly right now.
Okay.
Because we do have a partner family in line, and so once we get a lot and then can start building, then we'll probably once we get in the construction phase, then we'll start the next phase of getting the getting the applications in and start looking for the next family.
Okay. Awesome. So right now, the next plan for Coffee County Habitat in 2026 is to build a home.
Correct.
Is that right?
That's correct. That's the plan. We'd love to get started. Yeah, this year. That's the plan.
Where can people find information on how to volunteer? And is there a social media page? Where can they find that information of when we're ready to start asking for volunteers?
Sure, yeah. Best way is just send me an email and just say, hey, I'd like to get on the volunteer list.
Yeah.
And then once construction starts, we can kind of get out sort of a schedule about where we think we'll be at certain phases of that. And so they can kind of pick which phase they like to volunteer in, that kind of thing. So, yeah, we'd love any type of volunteers we can get at the time.
Okay, awesome. Well, Ashely, is there anything else that you want to leave with everybody about Habitat?
We're always available to take donations, money wise, and then also the resale store. Would love any type of, typically there's really two things kind of focuses on remodeled building materials. So like I said, if you're remodeling your kitchen, you're taking out kitchen cabinets, man, that somebody would absolutely love to have those at a very cheap, lower price, get them out of your house, keep them out of the landfill, and somebody else could benefit from them. And then we also, through the Habitat resale store, nationwide, they've gotten, connections with, like there's, like Lowe's is a big partner with the resale store. Sure. And so we would get a call to say, hey, we've got a pallet full of something that, we're about to donate it, so we get pallets of just stuff like that. We've got a flooring company, that you can partner with that will get in flooring at a lower price and that kind of thing. There's a paint company out there. So once we can get a physical store, we'll have a lot of good building materials that people can come in for their home, or Habitat's real good with rental properties.
Sure.
Guys want to fix up their rental properties with good solid materials at a used price.
Okay, yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Ashely, thanks for being on today and sharing about that. If you've not signed up for the father-daughter dance, you need to do so. Contact someone with Habitat and let them know. It's going to be an awesome night on February the 6th. And what time is that, Ashely?
It's at 6:30.
6:30 p.m. here at First Methodist Church. Thank you all for being with the No Grow Go podcast. Make sure to share. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to let folks know if you know somebody that could be a benefit, who could benefit from Habitat, or anybody that wants to volunteer or serve. Make sure to send this podcast to them just to give them some more information, and keep spreading the word about the No Grow Go podcast. Thanks for all that you do. We'll see you next week.